So I'm pretty sure that Tomura Shigaraki shit his pants after Katsuki Bakugo let an explosion go off in front of his face in this episode. Ooh, the League of Villains are about to get one hell of a visit from a ton of super-powered superheroes. This was a great build-up episode of My Hero Academia, as the League of Villains Hideout is about to get raided. We're going to see a lot of really big characters involved in this arc, guys. We're going to get to see the return of All Might, who has a personal vendetta here. We have Endeavor returning with his super-powered fire abilities, as well as the return of Blue Genist, who I love for how incredibly absurd he actually is. But we also get to see the return of some mainstays like Kamui Woods, Mount Lady, even Tiger of the Wild Wild Pussycats, which I think is a really great addition to this team. But we also have some brand new characters who are introduced in this episode right here. My favorite one has got to be Edgeshot, who is basically just a stereotypical ninja. His design is absolutely wild. Basically, he looks like a ninja from the Yu-Gi-Oh series, if only for the fact that his hair looks like a giant thunderbolt. But they've been teasing this character in the intro for the entire season, and I've been very anxious to see what his entire deal is going to be, and just seeing him formally introduced in this episode right here was certainly a joy. Anybody who knows me knows that I always love a really cool and mysterious ninja character. On the opposite spectrum of things, we also have the introduction of Orca Gang, or Gang Orca. He's some sort of like half man, half killer whale, and man, he just looks weird. He looks like the Kingpin from Spider-Man, like with his giant white suit, and it looks like the Venom symbiote is like melting over the top of his head. It's so strange. I'm guessing this guy is simply just going to have the powers of a killer whale, and in retrospect, that's probably going to be pretty insane, as those things kill great white sharks. So I can't wait to see this guy in action. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention the grand return of Gran Torino, the Yoda of the series. I'm so glad to see him return. I felt he was so underused in the second season, and I really hope that he's going to have another opportunity to shine in this arc right here. Cantankerous old martial arts styled master characters are some of my favorites, and Gran Torino is certainly up there in terms of badassitude. And I mentioned that Gran Torino is sort of like a riff on Master Yoda from Star Wars, and it's very evident the creator of this series absolutely loves anything Star Wars related. And we get another one of those references in this episode, as it looks like the main setting here is going to be in Kamino City. It's spelled with a C instead of a K, but it is still a distinctive riff on the cloning planet of Star Wars. The bulk of this episode is dedicated to Kirishima desperately wanting to create a group which is going to go and try and find Katsuki Bakugo and presumably bust him out of his League of Villains prison. But a few of the students feel this is not a very good decision, in particular Ida, who's experienced things just like this before. It was in the previous couple arcs of the series where his brother was attacked by Stain, he went off on his very own personal revenge vendetta, and it ended up not only getting him injured, but a lot of other people involved and in trouble. In fact, all of those students were basically just given an ultimatum: you can't do this anymore. You do this again, bad things could potentially happen here. So you have to understand why Ida doesn't want this to happen. One, he doesn't want them to get in trouble and break the rules, but two, he doesn't want them to get hurt. He doesn't want to lose his friends. He's looking out for their best interest, and he'll do anything to stop them in the process. There's a really intense scene in this episode where Izuku is trying to explain this to him, and Ida just ends up punching him in the face out of frustration. It's a really big drama moment that really worked here. What I really love about this scene too is they actually managed to convince Ida to not only join their team, but to actually act as the watchman of the group. Watchman Ida, as Shoto will definitely tell the viewer. By the way, Shoto gets funnier in every single episode for him just to point out the absolute ridiculousness of everything around him. He's basically the straight man of the group, and that's pretty strange coming from a guy who's half ice and half fire. So basically we got our big hero group and we have our smaller hero group, and the smaller hero group is going to consist of Deku, Izuku, Midoriya. We're also going to have Momo, who's going to be joining the group, who's creating the trackers, so they'll be able to find the League of Villains hideout. We of course have Ida, who is going to be the watchman, Shoto Todoroki, who is all sorts of awesome, and of course Kirishima, who has a lot at stake here because Katsuki Bakugo is basically his best friend. So they jump in their X-Wing fighters, they go into Kamino, and they arrive in the city, which is absolutely packed with people, and it leads to what might be the best scene of the entire episode, one of the funniest scenes from the entire series. In order to not be seen like children, Momo proposes that they all should get some brand new outfits, and instead of using her powers, they go to this weird swanky store where they all end up having these amazing outfits, which are just absolutely perfect. Tenya Iida's, of course, is great, especially with his weird little pedo mustache, but I really love Izuku Midoriya's here. I swear, little by little, he is evolving into Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. But I love how he tries to act like a tough gangster, and you know the kind I'm talking about. The kind that you see in every single anime series. The guys that get right up in your face, they extend their jaw out, and they do the whole thing. Like, that is friggin' hilarious, and watching a character like Deku try to do that is just great. They did it so that they wouldn't stand out, but honestly, they stand out even more now in these ridiculous outfits, and just seeing them go through this whole sequence where they all change is just great. It's gold. And the episode ends on a really great moment with Tomura Shigaraki desperately still trying to get Katsuki Bakugo to join the League of Villains, and he's just not going to do it. And in an act of desperation, he decides that he's going to take off his cuffs, and he's just going to allow him to be free, do his thing, and hopefully this will convince him to join the group. It doesn't. Twice ends up getting kneed in the face, and Katsuki ends up having an explosion go right off in Tomura Shigaraki's face, causing the weird hand that's there to go away, causing him to freak out and refer to his father. I'm guessing that's Papa's hand. So, what's the rundown on this episode of My Hero Academia? Just hype train, hype juice, hypeify everything. This is the episode right here that's going to get you excited for the next major part of the series, and it did a really great job of doing that by introducing some new characters, making some other classics return, and also getting to showcase some of the other side characters of Class 1A that don't really get to do all that much. Case in point, Momo and Kirishima. I'm most excited to see what these two characters are going to be doing in this next arc right here, especially because, one, I just love those characters. They're a lot of fun, there's room for development, and their powers are really cool. Momo can do practically anything with her ability to create anything, and Kirishima is just a guy who likes to punch things. It's awesome. It's a superhero show. You gotta have stuff like that, and I can't wait to see him go all out in this arc, and I can only imagine all of the crazy fights that they're going to try and concoct in this one right here. It's kind of an inevitability, though, that the two teams are probably going to end up running into one another, so I hope we'll get to see some awesome combinations between sort of like the seniors and the juniors here. I think it'll be really cool in that respect. One, it makes sense that, of course, that Izuku would go along with his plan. He never gives up in these type of situations, even when he's told every single time after destroying his body, if you do this a couple more times, you're probably not even going to be able to use your arms anymore. They explain that very clearly in this episode, like 2 to 3 more times, he's not going to be able to use those abilities anymore. He is going to be screwed. He's absolutely wrecking his body in every way. I'm surprised we didn't get a big scene of his mother absolutely freaking out, because that's just sort of what she does. She's so cute and chubby and caring. But no, she seems to be okay with everything that he's doing at this point. She realizes her son's been into some crazy stuff, and it's probably only going to get crazier from here. And this arc right here, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. The atmosphere is there, the animation is good, the music is fantastic, and it always has a great cliffhanger ending. Katsuki in this episode was great, and the best thing about his character is he's not going down the Sasuke route. That was the thing I was most scared of. They were going to transform him into a villain. He's pissed off all the time, he's explosive, he hates everything, but he's still a hero at the end of the day. He still wants to be like All Might, and he'll never give up, and that's what I absolutely love about Katsuki Bakugo. He's such a unique character, he's a lightning in the bottle, and that's why this episode right here was solid. Really solid. A great build-up episode, one of the best I've seen from the series. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I'd love to get your thoughts about it. You can tell me all of them in the comments section below. If you liked the episode, if you didn't like the episode, what sort of fights you're hoping to see with the senior heroes and the junior heroes going up against the League of Villains. Thank you guys for watching this review. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down, baby.